No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. We're going all the way so you can score more for your trade-in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV today. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out lithiafordboise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Greetings, Boise State fans, and welcome. ExtraMile Arena, it is going to be a big one. Boise State and Clemson. It's Sunday. It's earlier than usual, kind of a unique tip time, but the crowd filing in, and it should be a lot of fun for Boise State and Clemson, one of the biggest non-conference home games in a long time. All right, to set the stage here real quick, you are seeing a live look of the warm-ups. Our intern, Jaden Finch, is helping us out. You are seeing a live look at the warm-ups. That is live. The people walking into the arena right now, the players warming up, that is live. But Abe Jackson and I, as you are hearing us, we are taped right now. This is being done on Friday afternoon. I am getting ready to fly to San Jose for the football game. I will not be arriving at ExtraMile Arena till about halftime. Not happy about it. Don't get me started on that, Abe Jackson, but we wanted to make sure a show. So Abe Jackson, you hear him, the color voice of the Broncos, 670 KBOI. You know him, you love him. He comes on all the pregame shows. Abe was nice enough to help us out here. So we are taping the audio version of the pregame show, but you can still listen to me and Abe as if it were live. We're going to hear from Leon. We're going to hear from Tyson Degenhart. And you can hear us kind of in the background as you're kind of watching warm-ups and getting a feel for today's game. So apologize we cannot make it live. This is the best we could do. At least you're able to see the live warm-ups and have fun from that angle. But with that said, this is the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show, and our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. We're excited to be here talking Boise State basketball. And again, our guest, Abe Jackson, joins us. Abe, and whether here we're taping this on Friday, but here in 30 minutes, whatever, it's going to be a massive game for Boise State against Clemson.
Yeah, this could be, when it's all said and done, the best team that's really ever come into ExtraMile Arena. I know that Oregon's been in the building. LSU was as well quite a few years ago. But in terms of just quality of a team, this could rank up there as one of the best that's ever come in here as a Boise State opponent.
And what is it about you that says that? I mean, you mentioned Oregon in 2015, I think, and maybe you're talking non-conference. I don't know if you're talking conference. Obviously, San Diego State's had some top 5 teams before that have come in here, but a team that went to the Elite Eight, ACC team, coming all the way out to Boise, Idaho. I mean, I said this earlier in the week, but like, they didn't have to do this. The way the contract was written with the buyout and all that, like it would have been very easy for an ACC school like Clemson to just pay the $150,000 or whatever it was to say, we're not coming to Boise. We just wanted you to come to the home game, and we're not coming out there. It's too long of a trip, not worth it to us. We're not coming, and could have really left Boise State in a bind. This is a quad one game for them. They see it as a big game. They want to come out here, but just to get a team like Clemson from the East Coast to come out and play in Boise, Idaho, this is a pretty big deal.
It is. And first, I do want to clarify non-conference, because I know we've had some top 10 teams in conference that have been in the building at Extra Mile. But no, it's a huge game. And I think what's nice about it is that it's a huge game for Clemson as well. A lot of times when, these bigger teams come to a Boise State in the past, either they have canceled on it or they've just, it hasn't really been that beneficial to them. But for Clemson to come in here knowing that if they get a win, it's a quad one game, and for Boise State to get a win, it could also be a quad one game later on down the road with how Clemson does. So this is beneficial to both teams. I think it's going to be a packed house. Now, you talked about Clemson. They did make a run to the Elite Eight last year. They lost a couple of their really good players, a point guard, and then also one of their all-conference players, the center or power forward, P.J. Hall. But they have some returners as well, Ian Shefflin and Chase Hunter. Those two guys are really going to make them go. And then a new guy, Victor, I think it's Lakin. He also has been playing really well this year. And so they're big, they're fast. Broncos are going to have their hands full.
Yeah, he's a transfer from Cincinnati who did some good things there, and he's coming over, Victor, that is. And so you're right, got a couple guys back. One of the guys you mentioned, Shefflin, he played in the game last year. Chase Hunter had 14 points in the game last year. And another thing in that game last year at Clemson, Boise State just got manhandled on the glass, got out-rebounded by 15. I think it was 40-25 or something like that, 42-27. They just got crushed on the glass. And that kind of set the tone for some future games where they couldn't let that happen again. And they were better on the glass down in that Orlando tournament, but still obviously 1-3 road trip. It was just kind of one of those 10-day stretches to forget. Long trip, didn't go that well. And it started out, unfortunately, with a dud there at Clemson. And I mentioned the rebounding, but just overall, having played this team last year, I know some of the pieces are different, but on both sides, Boise State with a lot of newcomers as well, but just playing them last year and then kind of having some tape, and for the coaching staff to point to the rebounding numbers and some of that, I mean, that's got to help, obviously, getting ready for this game on Sunday or right now.
Well, the rosters are a little bit new, some familiar faces, but the style and the coaching staff's the same. And so you're going to get the same type of aggression on the boards. Shefflin was a great second piece to P.J. Hall last year on the boards, and he's going to take a little bit more of a starring role this year. But he's a big, strong, aggressive player that Omar Stanley and Tyson Degenhart are going to have to deal with. And I think a key to this game is going to be Dylan Anderson. You have a guy that's been pushed around a little bit inside, and a 7-footer, a little bit of a slender body. He's got to find a way to be more aggressive on the boards and to be able to hang around with guys who might not be as tall, but are stronger and use leverage better. He's got to find a way to get those rebounds. And this is going to be a game to do that, because it's going to be a big, fast, strong team coming in.
Another guy could help on the glass, Emmanuel Ugbo, a guy that we're going to hear from in a little bit on the pregame show. He came on the Tyson Degenhart show earlier this week. A very charismatic, funny guy. Didn't talk to him a whole lot last year when he was sitting out, but he's a good guy to chat with, speaks very good English, and is just a fun-loving guy, and seems like the teammates love him. I mean, on the Tyson Degenhart show, Abe, we had like literally eight or nine teammates like infiltrating the chat with comments and inside jokes and just having fun. It just seems like these guys, another example that these guys really like each other. But with Ugbo and his rebounding against Corbin, he kind of broke out, 13 points, 8 rebounds, and he said he's been waiting for this for a long time and worked really hard last year to kind of be ready for this. But what do you see from a guy like Ugbo and his potential to help this team?
Well, the roles of this team, I think, are already pretty defined this early in the season, and the role for Ugbo is going to be that rebounding and defense, and that's what they need from him. And when he gets the ball inside, finish strong. He's also shown that he can knock down the free throws when he gets fouled. So I think the role for Emmanuel Ugbo is going to be play some really strong defense, know how to use that big, strong body of yours without picking up a bunch of fouls, which he's shown that he can do. but then also rebounding. If you're going to say one thing that he needs to do, I would say it would be rebounding, because with him in the game, that can take Tyson Degenhart out of there a little bit from the inside. We saw his sophomore year, Tyson just really get beat up because he had to play the 5 position all year long. The longer you can keep Tyson out of that 5 position, or maybe even the 4 sometimes, I think the better the season's going to go. And Emmanuel Ugbo is going to have a big say about doing that.
Abe Jackson, our guest. You'll hear him coming up with Bob Beeler, 670 KBOI of the broadcast, Boise State and Clemson. And Abe, speaking of just some of the different things we saw in that Corbin game, the lineups, we saw a lot of different lineups. And you talking about Tyson maybe playing different spots. Like we saw him at the 5 at times. We saw, a Julian, Bowie or Chris Lockett playing with Cardenas at times. Some really different lineups. What did you make of that? And Leon, I don't think anybody played more than 24 minutes. And obviously, Corbin hit some shots early. That Spivey Word, quite the player there for Clemson. But, in general, I don't think it was about the final margin. That game was about getting guys working together, trying some different things. What did you like just in general from that Corbin game?
Well, I like that one thing I liked and I didn't like that they only hit 4 threes, which I think will be a question mark all year long about where the threes are going to come from. But what I liked is that they still managed to put up 100 points. I don't know if I've ever seen a game where there have been 68 points in the paint. That was just a dominant game in the paint for Boise State. And they did what they had to do. And Coach Rice was able to use some different lineups like he talked about. And that's a perfect game to do that. We're still very early in the season. We might have our top 5 starters already picked out and how that's going to roll pretty much all season. But then after that, you could really just toss a coin and be like, okay, what's the matchup in this game? This is who we're going to go with. So a game like Corbin, I think, worked out really well. You got a win by a massive amount. You got minimal minutes for your starters, a lot of minutes for some of your bench players, and you got to test out what kind of rotations can work or not, because the later on in the season we're going to go, Coach Rice has shown, like, the shorter that bench gets, a 7 or 8 rotation is, I think, ideal. And right now you can go 8 or 9 into the bench. So that Corbin game, I think, did what it was supposed to do.
I know it's 3 games, Abe. You don't want to make too many big assumptions or, oh, this team can't rebound, this team can't shoot, whatever. It's 3 games. I get it. But we talked about this before the Corbin game, the 3-point shooting. The outside shooting on this team, when you lost Max Rice, you lost Chibuzo Abo, there were legitimate and fair questions coming into the season about the outside shooting. Where do they make that up? Who's it going to be? How is this team going to be shooting the 3-point shot? And, Andrew Meadows done okay, but overall, again, another game where they only made 4 threes. They didn't take a lot. They dominated the paint, like you said. They were 4 of 13, so Leon Rice kind of said throw that out. But again, only 7 made threes in the last 2 games. Where are you? Or should there be any concern besides Meadow? Who else is going to be a guy that can consistently knock down threes for this team? And what do you make big picture, I guess, right now through 3 games of what you're seeing on the outside shooting?
Well, yeah, I mean, not concerned about the shooting. The Corbin game, not a lot of shots, but like I said, 68 points in the paint, so they really knew where they were going to score the ball, and they just kept going there. Andrew Meadow, he's going to be probably your main guy that can step out behind the arc, especially those corner threes. One thing that I've kind of watched is that Cardenas might be your second best shooter, maybe even your first best shooter percentage wise. But as the point guard, he has the ball in his hands quite a bit and he's creating for others. So it might be a little bit tough to get one of your better shooters open looks from 3 because he's the one facilitating everything. So I think that's something that the Broncos need to look at is that, Cardenas is one of your better shooters. So how are you going to get him open from 3, even though he's the one who's handling the ball a lot? Now, we don't have a lot of guys who are coming off screens and shooting threes. It's a lot of spot-up shooters. Omar Stanley can hit them. Tyson Degenhart, of course, Meadow, Cardenas, Lockett's knocked down some. I think there's a lot of pretty good shooters on the team. I wouldn't say we have any really dead-eye 3-point shooters like maybe we've had in the past 5 or 6 years. But I think there's a lot of guys who can give you 1 to 2 threes a game, and you spread that out over 4 to 5 people, and you should be all right.
What about that backup point guard spot? Chris Lockett, Julian Bowie, I mentioned that. I thought they both were better with increased minutes against Corbin, but I still want to see Alvaro Cardenas out there as much as possible. But again, you have foul trouble, things happen. Where are you with those 2 guys and who the quote-unquote primary backup is right now, and how do you think that's going?
So I think that's the big question: is who's going to be that first sub at the point guard position when Cardenas either gets in foul trouble or, of course, needs a rest throughout the game. And that's something that Corbin game did. I'm sure that we talked about it on the pregame in the last game. BJ, you said, what are we looking to get out of Corbin? And I said, well, a win on the court, but for the fans, you're probably not going to see a whole lot. It's going to be when the film breakdown happens. And that's what you're wanting to get from that Corbin game. In the film breakdown for the coaches, I'm sure showed them quite a bit about maybe who they want to go to for that position, especially in this game. You're going to need somebody who, one, handles the ball extremely well and is strong with the ball and makes good decisions, because the pressure from Clemson is going to be a lot, and it's going to be a pressure from a guy who's 6'4" to 6'6" instead of someone who's maybe 5'10" to 6'1" at that point guard position.
So again, Clemson today coming up here shortly. What are some big keys for you? I mentioned rebounding. I'm sure that's got to be near the top of the list. But to get a big time early season test here from Clemson, what does Boise State have to do to get a win?
Rebounding and toughness. And toughness can come in so many ways. It can come on setting a big screen. It can come on just running your offense how it's supposed to be run. Toughness can come by knocking down some big free throws. I think rebounding and toughness, but then also you have to score the ball. Shots have to go in. You're not going to be able to survive against a team like Clemson shooting in the high 30s or maybe even the low 40s. I think mid 40s to 50 would be a solid shooting night. But again, it's going to be tough. The Broncos are going to have to play well. And Coach Rice said so much in the postgame interview on the radio with Bob and I that he said you're going to have to play an A++ game. And so they know they got to play well. Clemson knows they have to play well. This has been a tough place to play looking at the record for non-conference teams over the last few years. So Clemson knows they're coming into an environment that's going to have about 12,500 people there. It's going to be loud. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be a great college basketball environment.
And I guess final thing, Abe Jackson coming up KBOI with Bob Beeler on the call, 670 KBOI. I mean, they already dropped the San Francisco game. I know they still have, Washington State and St. Mary's coming up, but just in general, like for that non-conference resume, for that NCAA tournament resume, when you get a team like here to, I said, frankly, they needed to win the San Francisco game if we wanted to say this team was, different or whatever. I don't know how you want to phrase it. Obviously, it's not a must-win game if they can go beat St. Mary's and go beat Washington State, but you drop this one, you really add some more pressure to some of these non-con games and also just the importance of the conference schedule as well. I mean, anytime you have a top 40 KenPom team that you have a chance to have a win in your back pocket, like it would be really nice to have this win. Like how big is this game? How important is this win for their schedule, their season? How are you looking at this game big picture?
Well, I think when you take important for the season, I mean, you just have to look at the numbers really on where the KenPom is and the rankings and all of that. That's how you can look at it as it's important for the season. For this game right now in the non-conference, it would be, a huge notch on the belt. Coach Rice scheduled a really tough non-conference schedule. And I honestly think that San Francisco game, it was a double-digit loss. But I think San Francisco's good. I really do. I put them in the top three in the WC.
The other day.
I think it was Long Beach. And so I think San Francisco's good. I think that loss isn't going to look as bad as maybe it does right now later on. But getting a Clemson win, this morning, this afternoon, whatever time it is, 11:30 a.m., is going to be really, really huge because Clemson's going to be a player in their conference as well.
Well, hey, appreciate you on a Friday for finding time to tape this as part of your busy work schedule. Enjoy the pregame. I will do my best to be there, safe flight and everything by halftime, and then hopefully we can connect with you on the postgame show and hopefully be talking about a big Boise State win.
That'd be great. I think it'd be huge for the Broncos. 670
KBOI, flip over. You can turn on CBS Sports Network, turn down the sound, cue it up with Abe and Bob. And again, that'll be a 670 KBOI coming up, pregame show shortly, and the game broadcast at 11:30. Abe, appreciate you, man. We'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks, BJ.
There he is, Abe Jackson. Again, he will join us on the postgame show. We appreciate Abe for jumping on here on a Friday. Again, you see the warm-ups. Those are live. The warm-ups are live. This is a live look at ExtraMile Arena, but you are also hearing me on a tape because I am literally airborne right now, Southwest Airlines, hopefully somewhere approaching the state of Idaho border, trying to make our way in, scheduled to land at about 12:05, and then we will be hurrying to the arena, and we'll get there as close to halftime as we can. And again, wanted to make sure we could get you a show today. So we got the pregame warmups for you. We'll keep showing that. We got some other interviews and things we want to play. We're going to keep this thing going. This was the only way I could think to do this. So keep getting your score predictions in. Get your comments in the chat. Get your thoughts. Jaden can put some of those on screen. I just can't talk about them because I'm not seeing them because I'm taping this on Friday. So get your score predictions in, your shout-outs, where you're watching from. You got your player of the game. Anything you got, and Jaden will still get those on screen. We just can't comment on them right now. You guys can chat with each other about those. We're going to hear from Leon Rice in just a second. I do want to tell you about Western Collective, the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the Orange Chaos Seltzer. You can pick those up at Albertson Stadium. You can pick them up at ExtraMile Arena, most local retailers as well. Western Collective. And again, when you purchase a Horseshoe Golden Ale or an Orange Chaos Seltzer, a portion of those proceeds go to benefit the Horseshoe Collective at Boise State. So you're putting money back in the pocket of Boise State student athletes using our studio sponsor, Western Collective. And hope you had a good time last night. They hosted the watch party for the football game in San Jose last night. So I know a lot of folks made it out there and had a good time watching the San Jose State Boise State game last night. But again, check them out. Their brewery there in Garden City and at most local major retailers, Western Collective. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. Again, Leon Rice coming up shortly. We'll continue to show you a live look at warm-ups here at ExtraMile Arena as Boise State gets set to host Clemson. ROEpaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, whether it's those concrete coatings, interior, exterior, residential painting, all your painting needs. Again, make sure you hit up our title sponsor and the folks that are the best in the business, Andy Rowe and rowpaint.com. Tyson Degenhart, we're going to hear a clip from his show shortly as well. Hope you caught that on Thursday night. Great stuff with Emmanuel Ugbo. And again, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner with the easiest, that mobile eBranch online banking right there in your smartphone. Check them out, Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Matt Bauscher Real Estate. I'm sure Matt will be courtside here today for Boise State and Clemson. Bauscher Real Estate, 208-243-8222. You can check them out online, BauscherRealEstate.com. And again, best in the business. Raines family bought and sold our home using Matt and his team. Did a tremendous job. Very appreciative of Matt. And again, Matt Bauscher, BauscherRealEstate.com. All right, we are by the way, we'll take your signature roofing voice inbox, by the way. Speakpipe.com/BNN on the postgame show. Give us some voicemails. Boise State gets a big win today. They lose. Whatever your thoughts are, good or bad or ugly, let us know. You just go online, leave a speakpipe.com/BNN. There's no phone number to call. You use it right there from the microphone on your phone. Takes about 5 seconds. So check them out, speakpipe.com/BNN. And again, thanks. That is courtesy to Signature Roofing, mysignatureroofing.com. All your roofing needs, whether it's repairs, re-roofs, inspections, free estimates, they got you covered. Again, check them out online at mysignatureroofing.com. All right, we are back, and we're showing you a live look at warm-ups. ExtraMile Arena, Boise State getting set to face Clemson. As I said, I am en route on a Southwest Airlines flight to get there by halftime. I taped this on Friday, but we can kind of mix here thanks to Jaden Finch, who is live at ExtraMile Arena, giving you a live look at warmups while you're getting some pregame analysis from us here as well. Again, Boise State went to Clemson last year. These two teams played at Clemson. It was the beginning of Boise State's 10-day trip to the East Coast. They went over there and they lost the game 85-68. It was just an ugly game for Boise State. They were actually tied 41-41. I think at the half they were down by 5. They started playing pretty well. The game, I think, was 41-41, and then all of a sudden Clemson just went off and took control of the game with making some shots and getting some offensive rebounds. In this game, Clemson had 13 offensive rebounds. They won the rebounding battle 40-25. So Boise State just got dominated by Clemson on the glass last year. And again, you look at some of the players that had big games in that game. Chibuzo Abo, 18 points. He's gone. Cam Martin, 15 points. He's gone. You also had Max Rice, 7 points. He's gone. So Roddy Anderson, 4 points. He's gone. Jace Whiting, 2 points. He's gone. So RJ Keene, 4 points. Omar Stanley, 11. Tyson Degenhart, 7. That's it. I mean, Andrew Meadow only played 4 minutes and did not score in this game. So it's a totally different looking Boise State team in this game. But also, Chase Hunter, Ian Schleflin, they got some players that returned. Hunter had had 14 points. Shefflin had 5. So certainly a situation where it's a lot of different players, some key returners, but certainly it's a different situation entirely. But again, Boise State then went down to Orlando and obviously lost that, went 1-2 in that tournament. Didn't go great for them. So obviously a big opportunity today for Boise State. Clemson coming in, as we said, top 40 in the, Ken Palm numbers, and certainly a big opportunity to get an ACC team to come all the way to Boise, Idaho. And they did not have to do it. Let's not forget that. There was a situation with the buyout where they certainly could have said, you know what, we'll just pay you the money and not come. And it was kind of a handshake agreement. No, we promise you we'll come. And they returned the favor, and they got on that plane, and they are here, as you see on the court, to play Boise State today in a monster Mountain West ACC early season showdown. So we mentioned Boise State losing to San Francisco. This is obviously a game that they've, that they really would like to have in their back pocket. You lose this game, all of a sudden it puts a lot more pressure on some of the future games that are coming in terms of whether it be, Washington State, whether it be St. Mary's, obviously Mountain West play. I've said all along, I think 2 losses in non-con puts them in a pretty good spot. If they can get to 9-2 in their 11 non-con games, that's a pretty good spot. That only leaves them 1 more loss, and you don't want to have to take that now this early in the season and drop to 2-2. So let's hear from Leon Rice. Again, you're looking at a live look up on the court of Boise State getting ready to face Clemson. This is courtesy of Jaden Finch, doing an outstanding job as our intern. I am headed to ExtraMile Arena, currently on a flight, taping this on a Friday, but still wanted to bring you pregame coverage and not miss out on a show. So again, we get your comments in, get your score predictions in. We want to hear all of those, and we'll get to those shortly. Jaden can put them on the screen. I just can't talk about them as for the reasons we just said. But here you go, Leon Rice. Let's hear what he had to say, getting ready to play this game against Clemson.
How many you on the boards last year? How big of an importance is rebounding?
There you go. I mean, it's a pretty simple tale, and it's, it's one of those things easier said than done. When you watch Clemson, I think they're one of the best rebounding teams in the country, and that's not even like the statistical analysis of it. That is the eye test, and so it begins and ends there. I mean, if you can't compete with them on the glass, that was the difference in the game, as far as. You look, it was 41-41, and they went on a stretch of offensive rebound. We were maybe at that time not as good as we got on rebounding, because we became a good rebounding team, but they left us because of those offensive rebounds, and it's what they do. It's definitely their strengths, and so you identify the problem. The solution is a lot harder to do than just, okay, we identified it. Let's make it stop.
To have them come out here, I know there was a buyout involved, but you're right, if they could have been like, after you play them, we're not coming all the way back out there. For them to want to come all the way out here and play this game, what's that say?
Yeah, credit to Brad and his staff, and this day and age, it's pretty hard to get a quality home game. And when you look at all the schedules of people, I'll bet this is their only true road game. I mean, think about that. True road game when it's at our place. That says something. So we're grateful to have them out here. I mean, it's that's a great program. We opened with a team that was a bucket away from the Sweet 16. We opened the third home game as a team that went to the Elite Eight, and was right there to go to the Final Four. So quality opponents, and especially Clemson. So we're really grateful to have them.
They've got a lot of the same guys back from last year that you saw, but also had some key transfers. The guy from Cincinnati, the one from Air Force. Are they a much different team, or are they very similar to what you saw last year?
I think there's more similarities than there are differences, because Brad's got a great system. He recruits to that system, and the guys that he had back were major part of what they did. And when we saw them last year, we were like, oh wow, that guy, everyone was talking about PJ Hall, who got drafted, but I was like, that guy's really good, and that guy's really good, and that guy's really good. There's a reason they got to the Elite Eight. They have a great coach and a lot of great players, and they replaced them with more great players. So you're going to see a heck of a ball club coming in.
In terms of them coming out here, I was looking back, maybe Oregon 18, or in terms of like
non-conference home games, where this would rank in terms of just the quality of opponent coming in and importance. I guess how rare is this, and for fans, like, why should they, put the football remote down for a while and come out?
No doubt, it is. You got to think it's probably one of the best opponents you've ever had come in here, and certainly in the discussion for it. And, I know people love getting a football school here too, and but I think the fans have already somewhat responded by getting tickets, and I think there's a few more. I don't know if there's any more, but we need a great atmosphere and a great home court, because when we go out on the road, that's what we see, and it can be an advantage. We need that.
So you saw it too at San Francisco. Your first road game, guys, are a little, just first road game jitters. They've played 3 home games against lesser competition. I mean, you hope your crowd is giving you the same impact that San Fran had.
I mean, you can't have a great team without a great home court, and this has been a tough place to play, and we need to make it that this year too.
You said it gives you the advantage. Why does it give you the advantage?
Yeah, it gives so much energy to the home team, and I've seen that over and over again. I think our first road game we saw that. It gets loud, and guys are excited to play, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that teams get out of it.
And then I just wanted to ask you about Emmanuel, kind of like last weekend, kind of coming off the bench, his development, kind of coming from the veterans. What have you kind of seen out of his?
Yeah, he's coming along. I mean, like I said in the post game, we've got 8 guys that weren't in a Boise State jersey on the floor last year. So there's going to be growth for all these guys, and it happens at different rates, and it happens in different ways. And so the biggest thing that it has to keep happening. And I'll bet the team we're playing right now as a Boise State team, we're going to be a lot different team in December, in January, in February, because guys have to keep developing, and we'll keep putting different combinations together and find what clicks the best. And I'd say that's where we are right now.
I know 3 games in, there's a lot less data. There's an easy way to look at stats and things and just whatever. But the last 2 games, you haven't made a ton of 3-pointers.
Sure.
Is that? I know when Max left and Buzo left, that was one of the concerns was outside shooting. How do you feel about that?
Well, it's also because we also, one of the games we got 68 points in the paint. Yeah. So, even if a wide open 3, it was probably not as good a shot as we were going to get. So there's always those circumstances. And then the Oakland game's different too, because of the style of the zone. And so a lot of that data is too early. A lot of those concerns were answered in our scrimmages and our behind the closed door stuff that we did. And so I felt good about that. But you got to step up and make them in games, and that's easy. It's not easy to do.
That was Leon Rice getting set for the game against Clemson. Coming up here in a matter of moments, you see a live look of the warmups as Boise State going up against an ACC school. Again, pretty rare occurrence here to get an ACC school, a top 25 caliber team. And again, Clemson was in the Elite 8 last season, so it's a big-time opponent, big-time opportunity for Boise State. So whether it's a Bloody Mary or a Horseshoe Golden Ale or whatever you guys are enjoying on this Sunday morning, obviously getting set for a big basketball game. You got the remote going with football. I get it. A lot going on with NFL games on today and kind of a weird 11:30 start time. I get it, but it is what it is, and obviously a big-time opportunity for Boise State today. We're going to hear from Tyson Degenhart in a second. Want to tell you about our friends at Ridley's Family Markets. ShopRidleys.com. Check them out. 13 locations across the state of Idaho. Got many in surrounding states as well. Again, that friendly family, feel when you walk in the grocery store. The staff's always great, ready to answer your questions. And again, you can get up to 40% off at the checkout line if you download their Skip app in your smartphone. 13 locations. 30 total, I think, in the surrounding states. Check them out online. Find that location near you at shopridleys.com. Snake River Pool and Spa. Check them out. TheSpaTeam.com. Whether it's a spa for the back patio, whether it's a pool table for the game room, whether it's a sauna, they got it all at Snake River Pool and Spa. Been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. Check them out. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, and Nampa. Again, TheSpaTeam.com. Lithia, Florida, Boise, the sponsor of our pregame show here. I know the weather is starting to cool down ice, snow, it's coming. Make sure you have the vehicle that is ready for all of that at Lithia Ford Boise, whether it's one of the F-150 pickups, their other all-wheel drive vehicles, whether it's the Explorers, all the different options they have, the Escapes. Where Ford begins in Idaho, Lithia Ford of Boise. Make sure you check them out. And again, they have NIL deals with 6 student athletes at Boise State. So check them out, support them, return the favor. Lithia Ford Boise, lithiafordboise.com. Taco Bell, TacoBellWorks.com. We love Taco Bell. John Mallory and I had a great time out there on Thursday. We were out there Thursday for our live broadcast in the morning, and had a lot of folks come out and get some free breakfast and take advantage of that. So SON Management, the Nicolason family, we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. And again, if you're looking for a job, they're hiring. TacoBellWorks.com. You can get more information. It's free food while you work, half your wages the next day after your shift. They've got a table right when you walk in, pretty much all the locations with all the information and paperwork to apply for a job. So if that interests you, I highly recommend it. But again, whether it's the Crunch Wrap Supremes, the Cantina Bowls, the nachos, all the great food and drink options at Taco Bell, perfect, cheap. I think our kids might have set a record. We went 3 times this past week. So love Taco Bell. It's cheap, it's easy, and highly recommend it. Check them out again at TacoBellWorks.com. Again, Clemson, they're coming in 3-0 on the season. Clemson 3-0, but they've got wins over 3 nobodies. Charleston Southern in the opener, they're ranked 277 at Ken Palm. Boise State Clemson beat them 91-64. In the second game, St. Francis 88-62 win. They're ranked 347 at Ken Palm. And then Eastern Kentucky, they won by 13 in their last game on Tuesday. They're ranked 241 at Ken Palm. So already 3 games of teams outside the 240. They have won all those games, but they have dropped a little bit at Ken Palm as a result. They opened the season at number 24 at Ken Palm. They currently sit at number 33 at this point in the game. Again, 3 teams outside the top 240. Well, you take a look at that. Boise State already has 2 games against teams inside the top 200. They played Oakland in that season opener. And again, don't sleep on Oakland. They went and only lost by 12 to Illinois. They lost at Illinois by 12. That was it. Boise State beat them by 44, and then they go on the road to Illinois, who's ranked top 25 at Ken Palm, and they only lose by 12. So they, keep this Oakland team going, because they played Kansas last night as well. And as the result of taping this, I don't know the score yet to that game, but again, Boise State has already played 2 decent opponents in the first 2 games, including San Francisco. I know the Corbin game was kind of a tune-up, but overall, Boise State's played a tougher schedule to this point than Clemson, and we'll see how that plays out in the game here today. These guys really like each other. I want to play a clip from the Tyson Degenhart show, and we had Emmanuel Ugbo, and I know some of you guys saw this live. Some of you may have saw this. We played on Friday's morning show as well. But Emmanuel Ugbo, Boise State, incoming player, had to sit out last year due to some eligibility issues and concerns. He came on the Tyson Degenhart show, and there was about 8 or 9 guys, and I'm not kidding you. If you go back and watch the chat, 8 or 9 guys all had comments. They're inside jokes. They were ribbing them, having fun with them, trying to get them to say stuff in the YouTube chat. And you just don't see that. You didn't see half the team in last year or the year before putting things in the chat when there'd be a guest on. So the fact that you had 7, 8, 9 guys watching the show and then poking fun at Emmanuel Ugbo and trying to get him to say stuff, we didn't even put all of them in this clip because there was some on the chat that we just left because I could tell there was some inside jokes there, and we were just going to leave those be. But we did put some of them on the screen, had some fun. Got to know Emmanuel Ugbo a little bit. I highly recommend you go watch the full show at some point after the game later today or tonight. But here's a snippet, if you missed it, of what you missed on the Tyson Degenhart show with guest Emmanuel Ugbo earlier this week.
How are you feeling?
I'm good. What about you?
I'm doing great. We got a comment. Keen's calling you a ball hog. What do you have to say about that?
Can we get Keen out of this, please? Please.
We'll only put him on there a couple of times.
No. Take Keen out.
We got to limit how much Keen gets on these comments. But we got a couple questions or a couple comments. BJ didn't need to put that one up. the one from C. Brightman. How do you feel about the BSU managers?
I love them.
We got a comment from Carson. Ems is going to get his rep. What do you say about that?
Well, that's just terminology. TD uses a lot, like Coach Duryea. He always says, take your rep. So I feel like if I get the ball and I'm able to take my rep, I will always do that.
There you go. That's good. That's what you're supposed to do. If they don't double you and you can get to the top of the charge, you might as well take your rep.
Might as well.
So Peanut with a great question.
I like Ethan's costume. He was Barney this year.
Okay. I like that. I like that. I like them. The boys.
That's my guy, my twin. And that's from a song. It's called Bedrock. And he goes, do you like rolling with friends or romancing? And I know that Julian loves rolling with friends.
Moses with a great question. Who is your favorite non-basketball sports team at Boise State?
I like the football team a lot. And like the football games is a lot of fun. I also like to watch, like, I have a couple friends on the beach volleyball team and the volleyball team. Like, it's fun to watch those sports. At least. So shout out to Moses in the background, by the way. But yeah.
Okay. Well, RJ's talking about getting these comments up. I think we don't have to get all of them up. We got our teammates in here a lot. We have a lot of teammates comments on here.
I'm saying, like, this is just out of hand.
Last one for you is, why didn't you swing the walk to when the walk on Brennan was in the game?
Okay. So I apologize to B-Man. B-Man knows I apologize like at least 20 times during the game, after the game, in the locker room. Like, I'm so sorry. But if you look at the clip, when Chris swings me the ball, I didn't even turn my head. I didn't see Brennan. I just went. Because I was like, oh, okay, this guy can't guard me. So I went in and out, boom, I went, and then someone tripped me, and then they called a foul. And then later on when I watched the clip, obviously when I got home, I was like, damn, like B-Man was wide open. So I should have seen that. It was good, Lex.
Lex, what do you have to say about that? Him not swinging the rock?
We know M's is a ball hog.
Funny, bro.
We know he's not swinging the rock, man. We know that.
It's been said in the comments. Keen said it. We had a lot of people that have said that. So
I'm a team player, I promise.
Ems, I want to appreciate you for coming on. I'm glad to have you on, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
There he is, Emmanuel Ugbo. Again, and actually it's Ugbo. He said he's okay with Ugbo, but it was Ugbo is the new pronunciation of it. I guess what it's always been. He said with Abo last year and Buzo, he just decided to go with Ugbo, but it actually is Ugbo. So Emmanuel Ugbo. And again, I know we're getting ready for tip-off. You can't do it right now, but go back and watch that show. It was a great show, hilarious show, a lot of funny stuff. And we appreciate Emmanuel for coming on, and for Idaho Central Credit Union for sponsoring the Tyson Degenhart Show. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Make sure you check them out, ICCU.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, sponsors of the Tyson Degenhart Show. Again, you are watching a live look at ExtraMile Arena. Jaden Finch, our intern, is at ExtraMile Arena running the show right now. So this is live, or at least that portion of it is live. You're watching a live look of ExtraMile Arena as the fans pile in for today's game against Clemson. I am recording the audio part of this on Friday, as I'll be traveling to San Jose for the football game and then trying to hurry back and get back by about halftime of the basketball game. We will have a live post-game show live from the arena there. I'll be back at halftime or close to it, and we will have a live post-game show for you. So stay tuned after the game. Come on back to Bronco Nation News for the post-game show. But right now, we wanted to make sure we still got you a show, still got our sponsors thanked, and still got you ready for Boise State basketball today in the best way that we could, even though we had to tape this portion of the show. So thank you to Jaden. If you guys have comments and questions that keep coming in, or I guess not questions, but comments, score predictions, player of the game thoughts, where you're watching from, go ahead and get those in the chat there, and Jaden will get those up on the screen. Excuse me there. All right. Let's get to Tyson Degenhart. He spoke for a couple minutes before the game as well. I want to thank a couple more sponsors real quick, and then we will hear from Tyson Degenhart. If you're looking for some new Boise State gear, check out Ashton Genty gear at the Blue and Orange store. Again, 2 racks, all kinds of Ashton Genty gear right up there in the front of the store when you walk in. And again, a portion of the proceeds here go back to supporting Ashton Genty himself. So if you want some brand new Ashton Genty gear, you can get it at the Blue and Orange Store and the blueandorange.store.com. Online, anywhere in the world, they'll ship it to you. Or just go to the Boise Town Square Mall there, the second floor next to Pro Image, and get your Ashton Genty gear. They've got the rest of the Boise State coaches, sideline apparel, hats, jerseys, sweatshirts, all that good stuff. Check it out at the Blue and Orange Store. Transportation Compliance Service. If you're looking for a job, check them out. Transcompservice.com. Transportation Compliance Service. Every step of the way, they can help you get into the trucking industry, and we're talking DOT, overweight, all the permits and things that you need. Check them out online at Transportation Compliance Service. Our friends at Jackson's, Tuesday, the Breezy Bundle. I'm recording this, and I don't know if he scored, so hopefully Breezy Dubar scored, and hopefully you're heading on Tuesday to get the Breezy Bundle, a hot dog and a soda for $1 on a Tuesday, and hopefully Ahmed Hassanin got his sack because a 91-cent coffee or fountain drink is coming your way tomorrow at Jackson's. If Ahmed Hassanin got his sack in the game last night. And again, you're watching this on a Sunday, but I'm taping this on Friday, so I have no idea if they got the sack or the touchdown. Hopefully they did, and hopefully you're heading to Jackson's here in the next couple of days. Another cool announcement from Jackson's is coming up in a couple of days, by the way. Don't miss this. I was walking into practice the other day, and I saw Andrew Meadow walking out with 2 lean feasts himself. So they're feeding the basketball team. They're feeding the football team. Check out leanfeastmeridian.com. Leanfeastmeridian.com is the correct website. You can also give them a call, 487-5782. But again, you can order online. They deliver, so you never even have to go in if you don't want to, with a full delivery service anywhere in the Treasure Valley. And again, they do it by the weight. It's all customizable, how much of what you want. And it's not those frozen meals you see on Facebook that get delivered and you can't change them. This is fresh. It's healthy. All different diet combinations. I highly recommend our friends over at Lean Feast. So make sure you check them out at leanfeastmeridian.com. And don't forget, we want to see some of those voicemails on the postgame show. Speakpipe.com/BNN. Signature Roofing, mysignatureroofing.com. Re-roofs, again, estimates, all kinds of good stuff, inspections, repairs. They can do it all. Commercial, residential, you name it. MySignatureRoofing.com is the website. Check them out. Check out their services. And again, leave us a voicemail. Your thoughts on this game. When the game ends, it's going to be about 30 minutes until we can get the post-game show started, because we're going to run in and do our post-game interviews. So I highly recommend after the game, highly request, ask, beg that we get a couple voicemails from this one. So speakpipe.com/BNN. Leave us a voicemail, and we will get to that on the post-game show. Thanks and courtesy to My Signature Roofing. Getting closer to tip-off, Boise State and Clemson. A huge one coming up for the Broncos as they look to, get that marquee early season win to kind of help, let's be honest. There were some folks that were down after the San Francisco game. Were they the trolls? Are they just fans that just can't get on board with this team? I don't know. But you have a huge opportunity at home to get a nice win, play well, get the fans back behind you, get the community back behind you, and then you got a chance to go on a nice little win streak with this tournament down in the Cayman Islands that's coming up next week and some of the other things that's going on. So there's a winnable portion of the schedule coming up, and if you can get the win tonight and get on a nice little 4 or 5 game winning streak and kind of get to 5-1, 6-1, put that, San Francisco loss behind you, that's going to prove to not be a bad loss. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why it'd be really nice to get a win today against Clemson. Tyson Degenhart, we talked to him about this matchup with Clemson. Let's hear from Tyson Degenhart.
Them a lot from last year. Very physical team, very skilled team, so it's going to be a great challenge for us, and I'm excited they're coming this way instead of having to go over there.
I think they dominated you guys on the glass last year by 15. I know that's a big kind of talking point after that game. You guys remember that? Or
Well, I remember very, very well. They're just very, very relentless. They go even when you think they're not going to go. So it provides a great challenge for us, and we're up for the task.
what does it mean to have a team like that to be willing to come all the way out here and play you guys?
It's a great opportunity for us. Not a lot of ACC teams come over this way, so we're really excited for the challenge and thankful that they're coming this way.
What can you learn about your team from this game?
We know we can learn a lot of things. How we can rebound. I don't think we've played up to our potential. Our rebounding numbers aren't where we want them to be, and just our physicality and relentlessness. They're going to provide a great challenge for us, and it's going to be how we respond each and every play.
I mean, the way your non-con set up and stuff, how big of a game is this? Obviously, you dropped the San Francisco one. I mean, I know you have a couple more chances, but you want to obviously get that marquee win. I mean, how big is this game for you guys?
It's big because it is obviously like Coach Janus said, it's the next one. We're not trying to look ahead to anything else, but it's obviously a great challenge for us, a great opponent, so really, really excited for it.
How do you see them same as last year or different as last year?
They bring back a lot of the same players with like Shefflin, Chase Hunter, Wiggins. Bring Hunter's brother off the bench. So a lot of similarities, but there's a couple of different guys in there. They brought Highbreeder from Air Force. So a lot of guys we're familiar with, but some new faces as well.
Seeing them go to the Elite Eight last year, I mean, were you watching that like knowing they were coming back the next year or coming back out here, or just pretty rare to get that to happen this year?
It was exciting kind of watching them, and they played New Mexico in that first round and made their way to the Elite Eight, and really, really excited to have them come this way.
What, I mean, 2-1, 3 games in. I mean, obviously you want to be 3-0, but how do you feel overall, just coming off the Corbin game, and how you guys feel going into this one?
As long as we're keeping improving, I'm happy with where we're at. Obviously, that loss to San Fran was not what we wanted, but we learned a lot from it, and hoping to continue to learn each and every game.
With some new kind of role players kind of coming in off the bench, how's that kind of chemistry developing?
It's going really well. I think guys are finding their roles, and I'm really, really excited to see them continue to be stars in their roles.
There he is, Tyson Degenhart. Appreciate him for earlier this week. Again, chatting about Clemson and the game. And if you missed any of Leon earlier in the show or Tyson, those are both going to be available, I believe, on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. Again, a big-time battle for Boise State. A big opportunity to really get that marquee win early in the season here. And again, you look at Boise State's upcoming schedule, 3 games down there in that tournament. Then they've got Utah Tech, Washington State. I mean, that's a home game. That's a game that I think they can win and should win. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, you can get 6. With Corbin, you could be on a 7-game winning streak going into that St. Mary's game if you have a chance to win this one. So I think this is a massive game. Again, 2 losses in the non-con is what I'm thinking. 9-2 is a pretty good place going in. You'd love to be 10-1 and win out, but 9-2 is not the end of the world. That's a pretty good non-con based on who they're playing. And again, huge opportunity here in a matter of moments against Clemson to try to get that win. The KenPom numbers do have this as of Friday when we're taping this as a 3-point win for Boise State. Clemson comes in at 33. Boise State is 42, and this probably changed a little over the weekend with some other games taking place. But as of Friday afternoon, when I am recording this, keep in mind that Clemson offense comes in at number 29 in the country. Boise State offense is number 35 in the country. And again, the Boise State defense is 59th right now, and the Clemson defense is 50th. So top 60 offenses and defenses in the nation. And again, that's out of 350 teams or whatever. So obviously there's both teams are good. Both teams badly need a win. I think Boise State needs this win more, to be 100% honest with you. Boise State could definitely use this win more in terms of what's left on their schedule. And this is a quad 1 game for Clemson, so not necessarily a huge loss for them if they were to lose this. So again, big opportunity, and looking forward to getting there as soon as I can to watch this guys with you. I'll be following on my phone on the flight, and hope to get there about halftime and be able to give you guys coverage at Bronco Nation News. And again, full post-game show. We'll be there. We'll be ready to go. We'll be locked in. Post-game show coming up on Bronco Nation News. Wherever you're watching this, YouTube, Facebook, X, we'll be back live with the post-game show at about 30 minutes after the game ends. So you can get your Signature Roofing voicemail inbox in. You can go grab another Horseshoe Golden Ale, and you can join us on the post-game show to hopefully be talking about a big Boise State win today against Clemson. So thanks, guys. Kind of a unique setup today with the I'm recording this, but you're seeing a live look at warmups and getting ready for the game. So we tried to kind of, instead of just doing some taped show, we wanted to try to give you, at least if we could, that live look at warm-ups and give you some coverage leading into the game here for Boise State and Clemson. So Jaden Finch, outstanding job. Appreciate him and his help and support getting this set up, getting us on the air here. He is producing and running this from Boise. He'll be getting his highlights and things in the first half before I arrive. And looking forward to getting to ExtraMile Arena here shortly. Looking forward to talking about this game on the post-game show as well. So enjoy the game, everybody. Have a good Sunday. Boise State, Clemson, big one coming up on the blue. Not on the blue, an ExtraMile Arena. Another one coming up on the blue in a couple of weeks. It's been a long Friday here already as I'm recording this. So thank you, guys. ExtraMile Arena, big one coming up at the X. And Boise State, Clemson, we'll have you covered. BroncoNationNews.com. Go subscribe if you can. Perfect time of year. We mentioned Ridley's Family Market sponsoring that private jet trip tour. We're doing that again, by the way. trip for two. If you're a paying subscriber, you got a chance to win that private jet trip for two to go and see a road basketball game that we're going to decide on and finalize here pretty soon. But big football, games coming up down the line, basketball. It's a fun time of year, and hopefully you'll consider a subscription, $50 to Bronco Nation News using that promo code BNN50 deal. You can see it scrolling at the bottom of the screen there. $6.99 is our monthly option as well. So hope you can support Bronco Nation News and subscribe. And we got a lot of great benefits for subscribers, a daily email, Prater's columns, my work. We got a cool announcement tomorrow, by the way, 9 a.m. Bronco Nation News Live. We're adding to the team tomorrow morning. We'll tell you more about that. So looking forward to that. And again, appreciate you guys. Go subscribe. You're watching a 53-minute show here on YouTube. So at minimum, if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit that like button on our YouTube channel. And again, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live, because we could go live at any point with breaking news or pregame shows, postgame shows. Turn on your notifications for Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. So when we do go live, you're ready for that postgame show after the game, and you can join us. And you can do what I did. I watched Riley and Rid and some of those shows on this week on my big screen. If you got a smart TV, just go to your YouTube app, and you can watch it right there on your TV while you're scrolling social media or doing whatever else you want to do. So thanks again to Jaden Finch. Thanks to all of our advertisers. Go support the sponsors, including our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Again, roepaint.com for all your painting needs. The Horseshoe Golden Ale, the Orange Chaos Seltzer, our studio sponsor, Western Collective, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia, Florida, Boise, Jackson's, Transportation Compliance Service, all of our major sponsors making this show possible, making our coverage last night in San Jose possible. So thanks again, guys. Appreciate you. Enjoy the basketball game. It's coming up in a matter of moments over on the CBS Sports Network. And again, you can listen to Bob and Abe on 670 KBOI. Abe Jackson will join me live on the post-game show about 30 minutes after the game. We'll break this one all down. But enjoy the game. Have a good Sunday.